Om Asato Ma Satyamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Pranam to Guruji, pranam to all the friends of his Vyasa, and my humble pranam to the viewers. Friends, last episode we have discussed that how Brahm and Maya are the same because of the property of unconditional love. In that discussion, we have seen that Brahma had 3 limbs as per the Bindu concept, or as per the micro-inverse and macro-inverse concept, what we have laid the nuclei or nodal points in the universe as well as in human body. As per that we have seen, we have established that the Brahman has got 3 limbs, Bindu number 1, 2 and 3. Similarly, Maya has got 3 limbs, Bindu number 2, 3 and 4. By that way we have equalized, or we have seen the properties or whatever Brahman is possessing and whatever Maya is possessing. So all we have analyzed, and then we have compared, though the functional aspects of Maya was higher than the functional aspects of Brahman, because Brahman actually is a God beyond creation. He is only Swarupa and Swabhava comes into picture for creation. Otherwise, from exactly Bindu number 1 is out of creation, beyond creation. So all the points we have analyzed. And while in analysis we have seen that Brahm and Maya are same. There is no Veda. What Tulsidas is telling, that Sagunahi Agunahi Nahi Kuch Veda, it holds good. Today we will see from scientific aspect that how science, or especially the concept of quantum field theory, endorses the establishment of Brahm and Maya, which we have visualized in last episode. What I mean to say that today's discussions will be on quantum field theory, how the quantum field theory endorses the concept of Brahm and Maya, which we spiritual masters have already discussed, have the discussion, and this endorsement in terms of quantum field theory will also directly or indirectly will ensure the concept given by Sri Tulsidas ji in 16th century, that is Sagunahi Agunahi Nahi Kuch Veda. So in this context, let us analyze what is first, what is quantum field theory. There are 2 words there, quantum and field theory. Quantum theory and field theory. Both together will be quantum field theory. For quantum field theory, let us see what quantum theory conveys the message. In quantum theory, they have established, scientists have established the model that is called model of particle physics, or we can say the model of elementary particles. or the same name is there, that standard particle model. Whatever name we can give, matter is same. So they have got a model where elementary particles are found, where quark and lepton is two domains have been shown. Quark have been shown as a three quarks having a proton and neutron combination, flavor of proton and neutron. Similarly, lepton family is having a electron and neutrino combination. Those things we have seen, and now we'll see in the next coming slide also. So they have, this model has got a sort of all particles, whatever are playing in the universe, and while interaction of these particles, four fundamental particles, they create certain forces or certain sort of specific condition. Because of interaction, naturally there will be some permutation and combination, so that they create some forces. And there are some particles also, because of because some of the particles which will carry the forces. So what I mean to say, there are three factors which we have to understand in the quantum theory. First is the domain of particles. Second is domain of the forces because of interaction of the particles. And third is domain of the particles which carry the forces. So that way we have got three domains. And if we try to understand the domains on our model of universe, or we can say macro and micro level, then we find that their particles are coming on the point number 2, or we can say that point window number 2 resembles with the storage of particles. And the second one is because of interaction of these particles while making the object, while forming the object, they will have certain forces. So forces are taken care by the window number 3, and force carrier, which carry the force, which make them a sort of stabilized condition. That is window number 4. So 2, 3, and 4 completely covers the quantum mechanics concept, and that has been shown in the standard model of particle physics. Standard model of particle physics, which again we'll analyze, we'll see that all the particles resembles with the window number 2, all the forces window number 3, and all the force carrier as window number 4. So 2, 3, 4 completely provides the information related to quantum theory. Here, how far this quantum theory resembles with our Maya, because earlier we have seen that same window number 2, 3, and 4 were the domains for Maya. And that way here also we are seeing that 2, 3, 4 is a whole domain of quantum theory. So they should match. And fortunately, they are showing the same identity. There in our spiritual concept, window number 2 was to, or we can say storage of all the particles that we have analyzed. And window number 3 was the Deva, which had, which was the movement of the Vasu while creation or forming the objects. So window number 2 and 3 are equally matching with the concept of quantum mechanics. And window number 4, what we have seen in our earlier concept or in a spiritual field, that Bindu number 4, nodal point for Maya or Prakriti or nature. Here also we find in the quantum theory that Bindu number 4 is the point of force carrier. Force carrier, like Maya was carrying all the resultant forces. So similarly here, Bindu number 4 is a point of force carrier which is termed as a boson in the standard particle model. So all are matching equally, all are similar to the concept what we have got earlier in the yoga and spirituality as a Purusha, then power of Purusha, and that nature. Or we can say what we have Vasu and Deva and Prakriti. So here, the standard model of particle physics where they have got quark and lepton. The quark and lepton resembles with the space and energy to center, referring to the Swarupa and Swabhava of the Almighty, or those 2 points are also referred as Purusha and power of Purusha, Urja. So what we have observed so far, that the quantum mechanics, whatever 3 limbs they have got, they have discussed. That is first about the particle, second about the force carrier in terms of boson, they have given the name, and also the forces. So all are resembling along with the model what we have seen last episode, that is for Maya. Now let us take the case of field theory. As we have earlier, we had the Brahman was having the domain of point number 1, 2, and 3. Point number or Bindu number 1 was the center or nodal point for Brahman, and the second point, Bindu number 2, was the nodal point of his Sarupa or Purusha or mirror view. Number 3, Bindu number 3 was the nodal point for his Swabhava, that is Urja or power. So 1, 2, 3 was the domain, where the domains for Brahman. Here, similar is a way for quantum, for field theory. Field theory, what it says, that window number 1 is anyway energy, and window number 2 is for particles, and window number 3 is for field. So here, field theory consists of energy, particle, and field. We know that either whole universe, either some objects are there or there is empty space. We observe that way. But empty space is not like simply empty space. That consists of some fields, which we can experience by bringing the 2 poles of magnet, that is North Pole. If we are bringing together, we experience certain repulsive force, certain repulsion, because 2 North Pole of the magnet, whatever we have to bring together, we have there is some resistance, and due to that resistance, we have to overcome the resistance. That resistance indicates that empty space between the 2 North Pole of magnet is nothing. It has got certain fields, that is magnetic field. And this magnetic field only putting a sort of repulsive force between 2 magnets, and we experience that one. Scientists or science has observed that there are so many fields in the whole universe, what we see as empty, at a different level, but different point. Unlike some of the places in heavenly place, we will find that there will be field of quark field, there will be electron field, there will be magnetic field, there will be electrical field, and there will be gravitational field. But all will vary in the whole universe at at one point, at one time. Only thing, there is a that concept, that kind of concept, varying field concept, were puzzling the scientist that how then the particles gain the masses. Means particles, they have got different masses. For example, photon is massless, and proton has got certain higher mass compared to electron. So how this happens? Why one particle is massless, another particle has got certain mass, and that also varying. One thing is very clear, that all the particles, they have got the exact spin. They have got the half spin that we have seen earlier analysis. And right now also we can see that our particles are having half spin. So spin is constant, but the changing scenario for the field is only charge and mass. And we also see what analysis the scientists are giving for the flavor of quark as well as the electron family, electron family. So their changes are only in mass and charges. So this and this kind of puzzle they had, and they were unable to find out the reason why the different particles have got different masses. So based on that, the one scientist, Peter Higgs, came to their rescue, and Peter Higgs has given a sort of mathematical equation in 1964 or so, that was showing that he had indicated, he had projected that there could be presence of Higgs field as well as Higgs boson, which are not visible, but Higgs field is everywhere. That mathematical formula was tried with the help of taking the other particles into consideration without mass or with mass, whatever they have till then observed. But I feel that equation was not solving that puzzle. But one thing was certain, once suppose the exact mass of the proton, electron, and the neutrons were fed into that equation, then equation was getting solved. So that scientists have observed that mass, whatever they have observed in different particles, are correct, but they were unable to understand why these different masses they are getting. So Peter Higgs said that there is a invisible field which is constant throughout the universe, from starting point, interstellar point, to the on Earth, including wherever we are living, means in our rooms. So we can say in the room as well as in the topmost point of the universe, there could be a field, which field provides certain kind of interaction, and because of that only all the particles are gaining mass. But they were unable to get a sort of solving experiment, and for that they were waiting for the Large Hadron Collider. And once that was ready, so they found in 2012 that yes, Higgs field exists, and whatever particles interact larger duration in the Higgs field, they gain larger mass, and the particles which are having less duration in the Higgs field, they get a lesser mass. For instance, photon interacts with the Higgs field very no time, means it just passes through the Higgs field. So it doesn't have any, it doesn't gain any mass. But proton or quark itself has got more mass, because it interacts a larger time. It has got more mass compared to the electron. Electron passes through the Higgs field for shorter time. So that electron gets the lesser mass than the proton. These all indicates, this concept indicates, and what they have found in the year 2012, that yes, Higgs field is a field which is not visible but present everywhere as per the fetus protection. And they have tested also, they have done, they have got experimental result that during that time when the field was created, Higgs field was created in the Large Hadron Collider by less mass particles. When these less mass particles were collided with a very high speed, then there was a ripple formation, and the ripple formation in that field was nothing but the formation of that particle which that field is supposed to keep. So that particle was Higgs boson because it was in the Higgs field, and that is what scientists measured. What it gives the message? It gives the message that there is a field, invisible field, throughout the universe, every corner of the universe, and that field is not at all changing. That is very constant, and whichever particles stay larger time in that Higgs field, that gains the larger mass. And because of that, only scientists came to the conclusion that photon doesn't have the mass, but quark has got the mass, larger mass compared to electron. Having understood this, then question arises: what is this Higgs field in terms of our spiritual model? So once we put all the parameters on from Bindu number 1, 2, and 3, we understood that Bindu number 1 is, in terms of scientific term, is nothing but a Higgs boson. So naturally, there only Higgs field would have started. And Bindu number 2 is particles, for all the particles concept, and Bindu number 3 is the field. So when Higgs field is there, in that Higgs field, Higgs boson particles comes up because of large, very high speed that they are collided, the particles of less mass, and then they found the Higgs field, and in that they have measured the Higgs boson. That was obtained in the 2012. We get the message that there is a constant field throughout the universe, and that is Higgs field, and Higgs field only is provider of the mass for other particles. Applying this to the model what we have earlier discussed for the Brahmans. So, but we other parts of the Brahman limbs like energy, particles, and field we have placed at Bindu number 1, 2, and 3. But Higgs field we could not so far placed in the model. We knew from earlier model, once we are discussing Brahm and Maya, then Brahm has got different activities or different position than Maya. And Maya, we are having the very higher position, higher factors Maya was possessing compared to Brahman. So here also we see that quantum mechanics tells about particle, field, force carrier as well as force, and field theory says about particles, field as well as energy. So these all are matching with the what model we had got in the spiritual model we have got for Brahman and Maya. Maya represents here the quantum theory. Quantum theory resembles with the Maya, and field theory resembles with the domain of Brahman. Now the Higgs field, what is this Higgs field? We have seen earlier that Brahman and Maya, there is no difference, they are equal, and there are no Veda between Brahman and Maya because of the unconditional love. So Higgs field is nothing but unconditional love in between fields as well as in quantum domain. So we can say that the quantum field theory gives the concept of, or it provides the clarity of unconditional love field, that is Higgs field here, they have given the name. But one thing is there that Higgs boson, what they have got as a God particle, is not completely matching to the concept of what we have. We have the concept in spirituality, we have the concept Brahman is one. It is not at all having any declination or mass is always one. That's why you'll find that Hindu number one has got only mass as one. There is no spin, there is no charge. So that is there, but there in science they say that Higgs boson decays by itself. That kind of concept they have got, which is not, which yet to be discussed or which yet to be established especially for the spiritual masters. But overall, we see that whatever we have seen in Brahman and Maya concept in the earlier episode, same we are visualizing, parallel things we are visualizing in quantum mechanics as well as field theory. Quantum mechanics represents the Maya and field theory represents the Brahman domain, and both together is Brahman and Maya, and they are similar. There is no difference between Brahman and Maya, so we can say there is no difference between quantum theory and field theory. They are same. They are same means they have to move together, and by that way we can see. And the factors which is making them the same is only Higgs field in the science, and Higgs field is we can define as a unconditional love field. This unconditional love field we have seen in the case of Ras Leela. Ras Leela, what happens? What is the concept in Ras Leela? That Brahman, Krishna, who is Vasudeva, and Bindu 2 and 3, and Radha, who is Bindu number 4, they had a Leela, they had a Ras Leela, and that has yielded a field, a sort of a domain, which was unconditional love domain. So Ras Leela has got very wider message. Ras Leela is not only a sort of a particular Leela, but it gives the message of unconditional love, experience of unconditional love. And there, Bindu number 2 and 3 was Krishna himself. Bindu number 4 was Radha, because Bindu number 2 is Vasu, and Bindu number 3 Deva. So first Deva was Krishna, and the third was Maya, and Radha was Maya. But both together had created a field that was unconditional love field, and that unconditional love field prevailed during that time, at the time of Ras Leela. So Ras Leela concept, as well as we can say Ardhanarishwar concept, or here the concept of quantum field theory, all are indicating that they are same because of the unconditional love, unconditional conditions. And we can say that concept given by Sri Tulsidas in 16th century also get endorsed by directly or indirectly by the quantum field theory. And this theory also says that there is no difference between these two theories. At the same time, there is no difference between Brahma and Maya. And That way we can say there is no Veda, there is no difference between Sagun and Agun. Sagun nahi, Agun nahi, nahi kuch Veda. Thank you. Let us have a prayer. Om Shanti.